Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Sound Archives. My name is Christian Maiorino, and I am the host of this channel. So today's episode is going to be a two-for-one album review, focusing on Cirith Ungol. Of course, they just put out the new EP this year in 2021, Half Past Human. But I also figured, why not review the last album from last year, which was 2020, and that album was Forever Black. So, those of you who might be watching this and have never heard of the band Cirith Ungol, so they formed in 1972, I believe, in California. The first album came out in 1981, that would be Frost and Fire. The band's sound, I would say they're traditional heavy metal sound. Some of them will some people might classify them as being doom metal. Some would even say power metal. I don't see that as much, but with the sword and sorcery type of theme that they have throughout their music, I guess it's not too much of a stretch there. And there's kind of a progressive touch to a lot of what they do. I wouldn't say they're a super progressive band, but there's definitely a little bit of that throughout. They do have a unique sound. The Tim Baker, the lead singer who has sang on all the previous albums, his vocal style, it's this kind of high-pitched, gravelly type voice. To me, it sounds like a 1980s cartoon villain. It can almost sometimes come across as a little bit silly, but I think it fits the music style of this sword and sorcery theme that they have going. I think it fits that very well. Their original guitar player, Jerry Fogel, he played on all the early albums. He unfortunately passed away many years ago, so he is obviously not playing in the band now. You also had Greg Lindstrom, who was wrote a lot of the early material, but only played on the first album. He didn't play on the ones after that, though. He is back in the band now. So anyway, going into the new album here, Forever Black, 2021. I'll just put that up there. Of course, I'll put the album cover back in there when I go to edit this. You have Michael Whalen, who did the cover art here, who did all the other Cirith Ungol album covers, and they're all great. This one included. You have this kind of lone figure walking across the barren landscape with this kind of dark background, and of course the bird flying in the air there. So anyway, for tracks on here, we open up with The Call, which is just this kind of ominous intro track, which leads straight into Legions Arise, which is an energetic, I guess you could say it's the real album opener, The Call being kind of the intro to that. But the lyrics just fit well with what Cirith Ungol, this being their first album in 30 years, almost 30 years, the last one being 1991's Paradise Lost. So right here, they announce, long have we slumbered, but now we're awake. False metal will fall. Very apropos, I think, to what where Cirith Ungol is now with this. Of course, that next track we have coming up is Frostmunchstream, which opens with this pretty cool riff. It's kind of a slow, plodding song, and then in the middle it kind of bridges to this faster part, which has some great guitar soloing, great drumming, really strong track. Of course, a Frostmunchstream leads into the next track, The Fire Divine. Another great, strong song from there. Next up, we have Stormbringer, which kind of has this soft, ominous opening, and Tim Baker doing clean vocals as opposed to his usual style in the opening. But of course, when the song gets heavy, he goes back to that to his typical vocal style there. Next up, we have Fractus Primissum, which is unusual song title, but Cirith Ungol has always come up with great song titles, some kind of unusual, but great. Next up, you have Nightmare, which is a great guitar intro, another good doomy song. Before Tomorrow, another great song. And then closing out the album, you have this epic, slow, doomy, fantastic song in Forever Black. So on this album, there's great playing from the band all throughout. On a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being worst, 5 being the absolute best, I would say this album is easily a 4 or a 4.5. It's just as strong as any of those classic Cirith Ungol albums that came out before this. And like I was saying before, it's been 30 years, nearly 30 years from this release and their previous one, and it's like no time has passed at all. So if you're familiar with the band and you haven't heard this one yet, and you like those other classic albums, you'll definitely enjoy this. If you're not familiar with the band at all, definitely go out, check this album out right away. If you're into traditional heavy metal and you like kind of doomy and kind of a sword and sorcery theme, you should definitely check these guys out. So next up, of course, we got the new EP, which came out this year. So if, Forever Black, if that wasn't enough, Cirith Ungol has dropped 4 new tracks this year on this EP, Half Past Human. So we got 4 new songs here. Of course, another great album cover work from Michael Wayland, who, don't think I said this before, but he's also done album covers for, he did several of the Sepultura album covers, and interestingly enough, he did some album covers for Meatloaf. So anyway, back to this album. As far as I could tell, it's pretty much the same lineup as Forever Black. So opening this, we got Route 666, just great classic Cirith Ungol type song. Great guitar solo in this song. Great instrumentation is a lot of their material. Always great instrumentation, I think. Next up, you got Sheila's Lair, another slow, doomy type of song. Of course, Sheila, we know from Lord of the Rings. Next song title we got is another title that I love, Brutish Man Child. Another great song. Just love the drumming and the riffing on this. So unique, so great. And of course, closing the album, you got the epic Half Past Human, which has this kind of slow acoustic opening, and then just goes into this really heaviness. Again, it's kind of an apocalyptic song and just great epic, fantasy woven into great heavy metal music. So really, really strong, the EP. The 4 songs. On a 1 to 5 scale, again, this is easily a 4 or 4.5. I might actually like this one better than Forever Black a little bit, but it's kind of hard to say because there's only 4 tracks as opposed to the 8 or 9 tracks that you have on Forever Black. But again, it's just great seeing a band from the early 80s, a band that's really been around since the 70s and putting out records since the 80s, just coming back after being inactive for so long and just putting out such strong material. It's really great to see. Really great to see that. So, anyway, that more or less concludes the video for today. If you'd like, please leave some comments below. Let me know what you think of these recent Cirith Ungol releases. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And before we close out today, now when I do these videos, I like to in the background put some LPs of the band I'm talking about, but unfortunately I don't own any physical media for Cirith Ungol. I don't have any LPs. I have nothing on CD from them. It's all just digital downloads from iTunes. But anyway, just to put up the records I have behind here. So, previous video I did, which was on Grim Reaper, so I decided to put the Grim Reaper LP up there. So if you haven't seen that one yet, that was done with my friend George. Go and check that out. Behind me right here, it's kind of difficult to see with the light glaring on it. Maybe I need to get a new light set up here. So that's the Metal Massacre 2 LP, which Cirith Ungol did not play on that one, but they did play on the first Metal Massacre. And I believe the track on that first one was Death of the Sun, which is also on the second album, King of the Dead. And then over there we got Twisted Sister, which will, hopefully the next video that I do will be a review of the new Dee Snider album. So I decided to put that up as a kind of a preview of what's to come. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the videos today, and until next time, keep rocking.